Men's college water polo season has arrived. Huge games in New York City this week, plus the last looks at summer for Team USA with the U15 competing in Brazil, all up next on a brand new counterattack. Hey everyone, Greg Mescall here. Thanks for joining us on a new episode of the Counterattack right here on Overnght. Busy week, as we mentioned at the top. Men's college water polo has returned. NYC playing host to two of the top club teams on earth. We start first with Team USA. Never-ending summer for the USA national teams. It's coming to a close in Bauru, Brazil. U15 competition. Team USA sending younger athletes there under the cadet national team umbrella. Off to a good start thus far. Action continuing through this weekend. Live streaming available. All the details on the rosters, schedules, results available at usawaterpolo.org. Here's a quick look at some of the early action. The USA women coming out with a 10-9 victory over Canada to get things started. And then for the men, after a slow start against the host Brazil, falling there 8-4 on day one, they come back with a victory. The action continues, as we mentioned, throughout the week. Good luck to all the athletes competing there. Great first look for so many at what it is to compete at an international event. We'll have full results next week on what happened at the U15 Pan American Championship there in Brazil. So go Team USA. From there, we turn the page to college water polo. Long wait is over. We've got college games back, and they started in different spots around the country. Here's a look at our college scoreboard. Just a couple of games to keep an eye on here amongst many that were taking place. Down in San Diego, a lot of the best teams gathering for the Triton Invite. UCLA and Navy, they got things started in Coronado. That was a 20-8 win for the Bruins. That was not part of the invite, but then if you look at some scores there from the UCSD hosted event, San Jose State over Long Beach State 14-12, and then USC 6 goals better than UC Santa Barbara 16-10. We then go out to Colorado Springs, the rare air competition on campus at Air Force in Colorado Springs. It was all Cal. The Bears going perfect on the weekend. They defeat the host 25-10. More big water polo coming up this weekend. The Princeton Invitational, one of the events to keep an eye on. Of course, as we told you earlier, that's where Pro Reco and FTC will finish their trip to the East Coast. But the big games everyone has circled, they're coming up, well, tonight and tomorrow. First up, exhibitions in New York City at Asphalt Green. UCLA, Princeton, FTC, Pro Reco, all part of the fun. Leads into tomorrow night, the big showdown between two of the top club teams around the globe at Asphalt Green. FTC taking on Pro Reco. Is that a preview of the Champions League final? We don't know. Still a full European club season to go. But as you'll recall, last week we talked with Pro Reco star Alvaro Granados. A lot of excitement around the trip to New York City. Reco's done a great job in the way of marketing their visit. Great to see guys walking around in sandals and their Delfina suits throughout Times Square at all the big New York City attractions. Sure to be a great crowd. Both nights sold out, live streaming right here on Overnght, so make sure you check that out. And then on the weekend, you can visit the Princeton Invitational page as well for details there. Princeton matches streaming as well as the matches that feature those club teams. So it should be a great week of water polo ahead. All good things in the way of growing the game throughout the country, and for this weekend, especially on the East Coast. And now from the pool to the golf course, one last reminder about our USA Water Polo Southern California fundraising golf tournament coming this Monday in Huntington Beach. Last week, we told you about the fun in Northern California. So don't forget, this is your last chance to get back on the golf course with Team USA. Remember, whether you sign up for a foursome, you volunteer, you donate, it's all helping Team USA and the water polo national teams that we all love. Don't miss out. Head to usawaterpolo.org. Still a little time left to get your foursome signed up. It should be a great day there in HB. And now we turn to our big conversation. We gave you a small sample last week talking with Julia Bonaguidi, the USA Women's Junior National Team. They won gold at the U20 World Championships for the first time in 10 years. One of the main reasons they played so well, it was a performance of Julia, who's also a rising star with the senior national team and with the Cal Bears. Here's more of our conversation coming off a huge win for Team USA and a busy summer for the San Diego native. Now we're joined here on the Counterattack, Julia Bonaguidi. Julia, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Busy summer for you. What a summer. Singapore, then down to Brazil, finishing with a World Championships at the U20, the gold medal. We got to start there. Just, it's been only a few days. Tell me about that experience and bringing home gold for Team USA.
Yeah, honestly, that experience was just so surreal. Looking back on it, I think one of the most accomplishing things, other than bringing home the gold medal, was just winning our bracket. I think going into the tournament, we knew we had a hard bracket with Greece, Hungary, and Italy. And I think just winning our bracket gave us a lot of confidence in going into the quarters, semis, and then into the finals. But honestly, overall, I just think we had a really fun, positive group, and we all just kind of banded together and stuck together and just committed. And I love those girls so much, and I just know that we all have put in so much work. It's been great being able to have the centralized training in Los Angeles area before, so there was just a lot more connection, I think, and yeah, we're super stoked.
Yeah, just a tremendous result. And people talk often about the success of the women's program, but it had been 10 years since the junior team had won the gold medal at that event. So a huge victory. You look at the results, talk about some nail biters. Some
Yeah.
of these games, stress inducing, just watching from afar, wondering how's it going to go. What was it like to be playing in them where you're in penalty shootouts and you have to come back in 1-goal games? Talk about being battle tested.
Yes, I definitely think from the very start of the tournament, I think we experienced like all different types of games. And I think we had gained a lot of confidence, especially from our earlier games, just on how to get out of like tie-breaking moments. And I think the energy just was, the final kind of push in the end. I think our group just had like more of a fighting energy, and we all just kind of had that connection that I go back to the term collective spirit, which Adam Krikorian talks about a ton. And it's when you look to the left and you look to the right at your teammates in the eyes, and you just know, like, yeah, we're going to fight. We're going to have your back. So I feel like our group definitely had that collective spirit throughout the tournament.
There's a great photo. I'm sure your parents will print it out and put it up, but it's like you in the final, you have like a big fist pump and you're just like really excited. What do you remember about the emotion of that championship game?
Yes. I specifically remember that was after I had thrown up a net on the goalie in 6-on-5, and I was so fired up. And I talked to my teammates before the tournament. I was saying, like, I hope the fist pumps fire you guys up, because it fires me up. But honestly, I think the venue had its own energy. Our girls were screaming in and out of the pool. It's just that, I really just think the energy just came from our group, and I think we definitely brought it to the final match.
It was one of those games too. You look at the fourth quarter, a lot of goals. You build a nice little lead, and then you're in that place where you're trying to kind of hang on. How nerve-wracking is it where you have a little bit of a cushion, but you know you're playing a good team, and they're just going all out to try to tie the game?
Yeah, I think Ethan had mentioned it in the fourth quarter, just like having composure. Definitely just remembering that we're up by a couple goals, and I think you said it, like we needed to just hang on and just have some patience. Lucy Hallenford, she just balled out in the fourth quarter. I think she had all of our goals in the fourth quarter, which was so cool. But just in general, like we all just kind of knew we needed to protect the ball. Like I think back to the very last possession when Spain had kind of caught up a little bit, and Emily was just like, I'm just going to keep the ball. And, I talked to her after the game, and she was like, I was so scared about getting an offensive. But she did a great job, just like exactly what we needed to do, just keeping the ball in our hands and not giving turnovers. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Lucy Hallenford, MVP of that final game, and then Emily also was MVP of the entire tourney. So a lot of accolades for you were on the media team as well, I believe, for Team USA. I want to ask you too, not just about the final, but one of the games that jumped out at me was the second meeting with Italy. Because if you go back to group play, that was a fairly lopsided affair. And then it was a dogfight in that second meeting with them. And this happens sometimes, right? I think teams, it doesn't really happen with Team USA. I think the culture of the United States national teams is no matter the calculations of what's down the road, we're going to win every single time. There's no thinking about, saving a little in the tank for another day. But you went from beating Italy pretty handily to like, whoa, this is like a different game. Did you sense that they turn it up a notch? Were you guys not as sharp? How did those two games differ?
Yeah, I mean, Italy, I think, is known for running certain defenses like the M zone. I think the biggest factor is I just don't think we were ready for them to come out and press us. And that was an adjustment that we didn't take as well, I think, during that game. And they ended up just pressing us the whole game. I was kind of thinking going into the second half, like, are they going to switch up their defense? Are they going to go into the zone? But no, they did a really good job of bringing aggression with their press. I don't think we were necessarily ready for that. But yeah, I also just think they brought a lot more firepower than they did in the during group play. So huge respect to them. They fought really hard in that match, and they were really really hard to play against. So, but
last thought on Junior Worlds: how cool is it to experience all of this with one of your college teammates, Rosalie Hassett, and then your college coach and Coralie as well?
Yes, it's so great. I love Cora and I love Rosalie. It's like having like a little piece of home when they're on the team. So Ro makes me laugh all the time, and so does Cora, and it was really special. And now going back to Cal with them, it's like a extra special little piece. So.
But now there's nobody you spent more time with this summer than Emily Osmus. Are you guys just sick of each other?
Yes.
I mean, Singapore, Brazil, it was a lot.
Yes. Emily and I, we have spent like the whole summer pretty much together, which was super fun. And she's just a sweetheart, and she's so into the TikTok and the trends and stuff. So she's always so uplifting and optimistic, and just has a great energy. So it's been really fun to spend the summer with her.
Now you two are part of the Senior World Championships in Singapore that didn't go the way the Team USA squad wanted, right? You get off to a good start, and then just some tough luck breaks there towards the end, right? The goal for any team, get into that Final Four, you do that, but then come up short there of the podium. For you, getting a chance at that highest level, let's start there. How great was that for you? Even take the result aside, but just to have that experience in your water polo growth.
I am just beyond grateful to have had that opportunity, not just to train with the national team this past summer, but to have been coached by the whole coaching staff, Molly, Adam, Dan, Natalie Benson, and just to be around those women in that environment. I learned so much about myself and about the everyday the day-to-day of being a national team athlete. I feel like I learned so much with the tactical portions as well of water polo and everything. So I was just super grateful to just have the opportunity to train, but also to be on a World Championships roster, and to go to Singapore, to go to Australia, for the pre-training that we did. I couldn't be more grateful, and I just feel like I learned so much about myself, and really I was so inspired by just the women that I was with. I feel like I formed so many great friendships and along the way, and it was an awesome experience. Obviously, like you had mentioned, we got fourth and we kind of fell short in the end, but I think. Again, you learn something from every experience, and definitely learned a ton from that experience.
Yeah, there's no better experience, right, when it comes to kind of developing than to be there at the highest stage. Curious, you've had some opportunities with the senior team. I know you've done some training camps and some exhibitions and stuff like that, but this year kind of really that first big step up to a World Championship type event. How does this Junior Worlds Gold, I'm not sure if there's a vision board in your room or how you've mapped out what your hopes and dreams are for water polo, but are you surprising yourself with where you've been able to get to? Is this part of the plan and the dream? How do you reconcile what you've done with where you want to go?
Yes, if I'm going to be transparent, I didn't expect myself to be on a World Championships roster this summer. Obviously, like I was still junior team age eligible, so I feel like that was definitely my goal. But when I was invited to senior team, I was thrilled to just be able to try out and just give it everything that I got. Like I said, I definitely didn't expect it, but I definitely got a lot more comfortable just being there and training. Obviously, that was my goal this summer as soon as I was invited, was to make that World Championships roster. And then before that, like obviously like making the Spain exhibition roster and then making the Australia roster. But I fully was committed to just whatever it took to getting to that point. But as Dan had mentioned, I think when we were in Australia, like if obviously making the rosters is a goal, but it's not like the primary goal. Your goal should be like developing yourself and trying to learn as much as possible. And I think when he had mentioned that really stuck with me, because obviously like I'm one of the younger players and I'm trying to fight for a spot. But once I kind of started focusing, like especially after Dan said that, just on like my development, I feel like it took a lot of pressure, I think, a little bit off myself a little bit, and just kind of gave me a little bit more perspective on how much I've really learned this summer.
People that play up a little higher at a younger age level, one of the things that they'll often talk about is kind of like the professionalism that they experience when the program is on the road or at a World Championships. I was curious, not that you're not really dedicated and trying hard at your college or your club team, or whatever it might have been, but everyone kind of just describes it as like another step up. Did you have that feeling? What was kind of your takeaway of just like the singular focus on water polo?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to have no other obligations, like school or jobs or etc. It's the summer where you could just focus on water polo. So I think that's a huge factor. But I also like, I guess the biggest elephant in the room, or not elephant in the room, but the biggest factor I would say is just there's a motivational factor that comes with the environment of training with the national team. I mean, obviously, when you're working with colleges, you're trying to win an NCAA championships. But I think knowing that we wanted to win world championships, it's kind of has the same effect. Like you have a goal in mind of beating certain teams that you're going to face, and I think that is largely contributing to the motivation and the high level that you're referring to. I would also just say like the girls in general are just so highly competitive.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I think a higher calling is too dramatic, right? But it is like there's some sort of like secret sauce when it comes to like that that level that just makes it feel different than other teams. You mentioned college and you're back in Berkeley now. I just want to hit on that. Obviously, spring season a few months away, but all these folks that you were playing with, now you have to kind of go back against them come the spring, and certainly big expectations for Cal. What has you excited about the new season come January?
Yes, I think we have a really good group at Cal this year. It's also interesting. You mentioned, now that I'll be playing against my teammates, but we also have a ton of international girls who we have been playing against. So now I get to join back with them. I'm referring to like Holly Dunn, Esther Varro, Despina Draco, and Rosalie, obviously, I've been training with. But I just think we have a really mixed group, and I think whenever we come back, the connections are immediately there. So it'll be fun to be able to play with them again, especially with their international experience. I think it's definitely, college is always fun to be able to play against the people who are on the national team. But I'm super stoked, and honestly, I wish spring would come around faster because season is just so much fun. But
That's great. Well, looking forward to seeing the Bears. A few more for you. You've talked about your appreciation for the coaches you've been around, and whether it's Corley or AK or Dan or Nat, the others. You came up playing in a really strong program in San Diego, right? You played for Doug Peabody, another guy that is well known in kind of the coaching world. What'd you take from him that you've kind of still used as you work your way up through Cal and with Team USA?
Yes, I still have a great relationship with Doug. He was texting me all summer, and yeah, when I think of Doug, I think of just the support that he has given me throughout just my whole life. I've known Doug since I was like 8 or 9 years old, and he's always been like my number one supporter. Well, in addition to my mom, but Doug is. He just has a lot of heart, and I think especially when I'm on trips like these, knowing that I'm representing the United States, I think back to who's at home and who has helped me throughout the years. And I think of Doug. One of the people I think of is Doug, and Ian Davidson as well, and Mitchell Seeley, who are all my coaches who I've grown up with, and they've just always had my back and supported me 100%. So they've just, I think back to those people whenever I'm standing on the podium with my right hand over my heart.
Just a couple more for you here, Julia. I think you mentioned kind of those that support you. When you have these cool moments, they're going to take you to Australia and Singapore. You made the junior team. Cal wants you to come play. Who do you call? Who's the person that you talk to right away that you're like, oh, I got to tell him this great news?
Yeah. I would say the number one person who I call is my mom. She has been my biggest supporter since day one. And I'm just, so grateful for her effortless support or never ending support. And she just always has my back, and she's always so excited and excited when she hears about national team and just really anything that's happening in my life. So, and then obviously my brother and my sister, they've just been so stoked for me this past summer. My sister came out to Brazil, which was cool. And then I call my grandpa as well. He actually went to Singapore. He's like a little world traveler. He loves to travel, so he came to support me there. But yeah, just my family, and they've just been really, I've held them dear in my heart throughout this past summer when I've been away, and they're just the biggest supporters. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Speaking of family, last thing, I'm a stickler for making sure that I say someone's name right when we do a broadcast. I feel like I've got it down, Bonaguidi.
Yes.
What's the worst pronunciation you've ever heard of your own last name?
Oh, great question. Yes, I've heard a lot. Bonaguidi has always been one, or like okay. Bonaguidi. Yeah. But just so it's clear, like it's Bonaguidi. Got it. Yes.
Well, someone who has heard Mescall and every other thing you can imagine,
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Julia, this was awesome. I appreciate taking some time. Hope you can get some rest here before classes and everything else start up at Cal, and I look forward to seeing you in the pool soon.
Thank you so much.
Once again, a big thanks to Julia for joining us here on The Counterattack. Make sure you join us next week. We have another great big conversation coming up. Not telling you who it is yet. You'll have to tune in, find out. We'll give you a hint. It's from the world of men's college water polo, but an exclusive chat right here on The Counterattack. So we're looking forward to that one. Make sure you don't miss out. This little tease for you that you join us next week. So come on back. Now we turn to one of our favorite parts of every episode. It's our Malmsteen goal of the week. We told you about the U15s. Let's head back down to Brazil. Check out Kylie Arroyo. This is from U15 Team USA. It's the 7th goal of the day in that tight 10-9 win over Canada to get things started. McKenna Mack had the game winner. Team USA was able to pick up a dub on day one, and they'll try to finish strong in Bauru, Brazil. Don't forget, you can submit a play that you like for the Malmsteen goal or maybe goalie save of the week. Make sure to send us a DM or tag us. You can send to @USAWP. Also check in with the Overnght social media channels as well. and we'd love to share something that you thought was great. Maybe it could use a little bit more attention, hasn't gotten a lot of eyeballs on it. We'd love to help amplify right here on the show. Looking ahead, exciting things on the way. We told you all about the Recco FTC games coming up. Princeton Invite this weekend, the USA Water Polo Southern California fundraising golf tournament on Monday. We're just getting started. The fall has arrived. So much more water polo ahead. We're excited to talk about it here on The Counterattack. But that'll do it for this week's episode. As we always remind you, when you're on The Counterattack, look weak side.